Hello. Mm, 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 mm. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. I'm going to wait for a lot of you guys to hop on while I'm getting adjusted here. This is a big sister mentor training. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Waiting for more people to hop on as I'm getting my hair together. I'm gonna definitely wash it. Starting to do like, the weather's been interesting in LA, so it's like making my hair really poofy. Okay, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Hello, everybody. My name is Sienna Singh, and I love talking about health, fitness, and mindfulness. And this is going to be a training, okay? This is going to be a training that is going to only be able to be seen over in my subscriptions. And I'm also going to be putting this into a bundle as a course that I'm going to be selling. So you're getting it. If you happen to catch me on live right now, you get to be the live audience for this. So yay, 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 yay. Definitely looking forward to your questions. This is going to be diving deep, okay? So if you are here to troll, scam, well, I guess, yeah. I mean, if you're here to be a troll, if you're here to say rude comments, I don't do any engaging with that. I just literally press block. So it's like not really that fun to troll me because I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm just going to like press block with zero warning. Like it's not going to be like, hey, don't say that or else I'm going to block you, or hey, don't say that. It's like, I'm just going to be speaking, and you might just see me do this, and like that's it. Like you're gonna see the you're gonna see the finger like go down like that, and then everyone's gonna know that somebody's getting blocked. That's it. Okay. So yes, that's that. Definitely get out a pen and paper if you are about that life. If you really want to dive deep. I also have my turmeric tea. I'm going to tell you what the topic is about in a second, but I also have my turmeric tea. I have to be careful because this is very potent and it will stain if I spill anything. So turmeric is amazing. It has so many amazing benefits. I drink ginger and turmeric every single day. It helps out with inflammation. It helps out with just a bunch of stuff. You know what? Actually, just for fun, just as an icebreaker, let's see. I'm curious to see what comes up. Benefits of turmeric. Okay. But yeah, this is going to be a live training. We're going to dive deep in a very popular topic that most people are trying to figure out. All right. It says, it says turmeric is rich in phytonutrients that may protect the body by neutralizing free radicals, so pollution, sunlight, shielding the cells from damage. Okay, so I'm half Punjabi, and which is interesting because a lot of Indians eat turmeric every single day, but I actually learned about turmeric from my mom who's black. But anyways, so there's so many benefits to this, and literally the amount of so I actually just researched this. If you download the book How Not to Die, in there's one of the studies states that the lowest dementia cases and Alzheimer's cases is in India, and they believe it has to do with the turmeric when they've done their studies. So don't quote me on that. Go look up the book How Not to Die. It's a really popular book, and in there it literally has studies on how the amazing benefits of turmeric and all that. So I can see like free radicals, it keeps inflammation down, all that stuff, right? How do you gain belly fat? That's easy. That is an easy one. So I'm gonna, get comfortable here. Okay. So if you guys were on with me earlier, you guys saw that I already hammered out my workout. This is actually going to be about how I lost 30 pounds and have been able to keep it off for over 7 years. Now, at the time, I'm 5'7", I was 128, 29, 130 pounds. Like that's where I hovered. um, years ago. And I ended up gaining 25 to 30 pounds really quick, like over the course of like 6 months, like as I was heading into my 30s. And I was like, whoa, like this is not cute. So I did a lot of inner work. I did a lot of meditation. I did like a lot of like getting my mind right. And because I had never gained that much weight, I had never been that weight. And it wasn't that it looked bad or it was like unhealthy. For me, I had never seen my body like that. And to gain it so quickly, I was like actually concerned. And I just didn't like, I enjoyed being the weight that I was. I had a lot of confidence at that weight. I was really healthy at that weight. And I just didn't care to have the extra weight on me. So, and I want to keep, especially like as we have more years on the planet, if you're just kind of living your same lifestyle, you're not going to really, you're going to gain like a pound or two on average every year. And I was like, okay, I'm not about to head into my 30s with an extra 30 pounds and then like gain a pound or two as I go, and then I'm going into my 50s and I'm like, now I'm 50 pounds overweight. I just like had this whole thing. So I was like, I'm not doing that. And I had to really get serious. I had to really get disciplined. And I'm going to tell you what I had to do. I'm going to spill it all out there. And a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about is in my ebook that I created. You can, if you want to check that out, click the link in my bio. But I'm going to give you guys like a deep dive, like really going deep. And if you still want to know more, you can definitely get my book. So let me just see what you guys are saying really quick. I don't do any personal training, but I'm trying to get the habit of just propping up my phone and going on live and showing you guys my workouts. Like this morning, if you guys were with me this morning, you guys saw that. Also, I'm posting more clips, but there's so many clips on Instagram and TikTok of like workouts that it doesn't feel, I don't know. It doesn't feel impactful. Like if I'm going to be posting something, I want to start posting to actually give you guys something to implement into your life to actually make changes. Like just to post like RDLs or squats all the time, and then I'm not really speaking about it or talking about it or saying what I've learned from how I've done squats really wrong for years, and now what I know, because I was with a trainer for 8 months straight on like really working on my form, really understanding things. So I'm gonna let it unfold how it's gonna unfold, but you may see me just pop on live and start talking about the workouts that I'm doing, and then I want that to actually be something that you care to implement, and not just seeing me like do a squat or like do like curls, and like I'm doing a curl with like a cool like quote, and I'm just like I just I don't know, it's not I want it to be doing something for you. Now if it is going to do something for you, that's awesome, but I just feel like there's so much of that now. It's just like, I don't know. Okay, let's see. People struggle with the way they look after they lose weight. Got any talks with plus 25? I'm not sure what that means. Okay, let's see. So I'm just going through your guys' comments really quick and emojis. Okay. All right. So back when I was about 28, 29 years old, I gained 25 to 30 pounds. So let me know if you guys have ever been there. Let me know if you guys are going through that now. There was an array of different reasons why that was going on. I was in a job that I hated, which I did an entire live on. If you guys want to check that out, you have to go over to my subscriptions over on my Instagram. I'm also going to put that into a bundle because I did a training while I was talking about that story. But anyways, it was at a job that I hated. I had a relationship at the time, and we would eat a lot together. Like I wasn't really somebody that ate in the middle of the night, but when you're in a relationship, it's like a lot of the relationship is surrounded around food. You're going to dinner, you're like ordering in, you're cooking, and then it's like, oh, want to eat again? Like it's just like there's a lot of like eating involved in a relationship, if that makes sense. So and definitely follow me so you can catch more lives like this, because I don't repost these trainings anywhere else other than under a paid subscription. So definitely make sure you follow me so you can catch these for free. But yes, so yeah, there was an array of different reasons. But so when I was 28, 29, I gained like 25, 30 pounds. And I looked in the mirror one day and I just was like, when did this happen? Like, why did this happen? When did this happen? So I also got really into meditation at the time. So I went really deep within. So number one, and I literally said, right, because I didn't necessarily show up with a thing, like a bunch to talk about, because this is coming from my heart. This is something that's being channeled. This is something that I really believe that you can actually implement. So I'm not really coming up. I only have this to keep track of like what I'm talking about. So I first started out with meditation. I've always been very spiritual, but and the topic is how I lost 30 pounds and kept it off for over 8 years now. And never had to go, I never did a yo-yo. Like a lot of times people, you know, will lose like 10 pounds and they gain it back. And then they'll lose 15 pounds and they'll get it back. And then they'll lose 30 pounds and then they'll gain back 20 of it. And then I did zero yo-yoing. So I'm going to tell you how to not yo-yo and what I actually did on a consistent basis that became part of my rituals. So number one, meditation and then rituals, okay? So when I was meditating, I was like, why am I gaining all this weight? Like, what is it? So number one, I really hated my job. And I'm not going to say that story again. You're going to have to catch that under my Instagram subscription, but I hated my job. So I just was like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else with the minutes of my life, like the minutes on the planet. Like, I don't know, let me know in the comments if you guys can relate, where you're just like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something different. I hate my job. I don't like my atmosphere. I don't like whatever it is in your life. But then you resort to food to comfort that feeling, right? You go to food to comfort that feeling. So that's what I was doing. I was like, okay, I hate my job, but I really liked my relationship that I was in at the time. So then we would eat, and then I would like go back to a job I hated, and then I'd be like, ooh, what am I going to eat when I get off later? Like that was like my reward for going to a job that I hated. I was like, ooh, I'm about to go in on some food later, right? And then I was eating really late, and then just all these things. So I just was like, what do I have to do? So I started like just going on YouTube, and I came across a lot of meditation talks and videos and all that. And so I actually have now adopted a meditation practice. And in meditation, I really had to realize that I had to quit my career at the time. And I wouldn't even call it, I mean, I'm calling it a career, like, because at the time I'm like, oh, well, this is my career now. Like, I graduated college, I have this job, and I'm now turning it into my career. But I'm like, isn't a career, I don't know. I could be missing something, but isn't a career supposed to be something that you, like, it's almost like your life's work, right? Like, I don't know. I've made it more like this grandiose thing, and I'm like, this is not giving career for me. Okay, this is not giving career. So I was like, in order, and I'm probably going to keep messing with my hair because, again, the weather's like been really windy, and it like really took out all of the moisture out of my hair. My hair was like giving yesterday. Anyways, so I was like, I'm going to have to quit this job, this career, okay? And I had made it up really high in the company. I was a district manager. I had become a district manager when I was 26 years old. I was over 30 full-time people. I was over 400 part-time people. I had just like advanced really, really quickly. I advanced really quickly for my age. So I was like, okay, I think I'm supposed to like continue to do this because I'm like clearly good at it. But what I was good at was building relationships with people. It wasn't necessarily the particular career. So what worked for me was through meditation, which I want to definitely encourage you to do. If you are not somebody that is into meditating or understands it, or you're scared of it, or you have heard bad things about it, or you're annoyed with it, I want to let you know that everything else that I'm going to say from this point on is because I was literally downloading this information from the divine, the higher up, the most high, the almighty, from my higher self, from my inner self, whatever you want to call it, through meditation. So I really want to encourage you to adapt some kind of either spiritual practice, meditation, or something where you are reflecting. Okay, so if it's journaling, if you're not into God or anything like that, you can still think about it as a ritual of reflection. Okay, a ritual of reflection. All right, so whether that's journaling, whether that's putting on a video and just talking to yourself and then watching it back, whether it's getting a therapist, right? So let me just see what you guys are saying before I go further. Just reading through you guys' comments really quickly. There's just like a lot of, I can relate. Yes, awesome. Afternoon trying to build muscle and gym. Okay, yep, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. I want to like lead this up because there's a couple steps before just jumping right into like, okay, this is how to lose weight. This is how to gain muscle. This is how to start eating more healthy. Like it's deeper than that. Like I think most of us know that from, you could just simply Google that. Like we basically have, like you damn near don't even have to necessarily be like become a genius at anything. You could just literally speak it into Siri and it just comes out. And there's going to be millions of ideas on how to lose weight, on methods, on workouts, on all that. But because there's real life happening, there's real issues happening, there's real confidence issues, self-esteem issues that people go through as to why they cannot break the barrier of being able to actually start to lose the weight, or actually get in front of like why they are not good at their discipline, or why they can't find motivation. Like we're going to dive deep into it. So that's so I will get to that, like those, but that's just for later as we continue to build. Just got done eating oatmeal. That's good. Good, oatmeal's good. All right. Let's see what else. Okay, how do I? Okay. All right. So, continuing on. Through meditation, I was like, I'm going to have to quit this job because I'm now starting to see the job on my body, right? I'm starting to see the job on my body. So I was like, but how am I going to quit? Like, I'm going to quit my job to get in shape. Like, I just was like, wait a minute. Like, and at the time it was just like, you don't understand it now, but you're going to want to quit the job for many reasons. And you've been holding on to this job because you feel like you're supposed to, but the job is stressing you out. You're now like literally sucking up the stress from this job, and it's showing in, it's like you're aging quicker, you're gaining weight, you're coping with food, you're eating late at night, like you don't have any kind of system for yourself anymore. You don't even, you're starting to lose motivation with working out, like you're getting lazier, you, just all of these things, right? So that was number one. I just had to reflect. So my meditation was my way of reflecting. So, number two is, once I decided that I was going to quit my job, I came up with a game plan to quit my job. If you want to know more about that, again, I'm going to post it over on Instagram under my subscription. I was like, okay, so now boom, that plan is done. Now my plan is to get this 30 pounds off. When I tell you, it was so, if at the time it felt so difficult, but like now I look back, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. But in the moment, I just was like, this is almost like torture, because I'm like, it wasn't that I was making healthy decisions, but I was like, how did I even get myself here? Like, this is how much I wasn't even focused on myself. Like, I would focus on hitting the company goals and doing all these things for a job I hated, but then I wasn't focused on hitting my personal goals, my health goals, my relationship goals, pouring into myself, my self-growth, my self-love, just all of that, right? And it was reflecting on the weight that I was gaining. So, and I'm sharing this because I either A, I hope you can identify with me, or B, I want you to understand like why I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this. So, I was like, let me come up with a game plan to do this. So mind you, I lived with, I was living with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and we ate a lot together. So I literally, and a lot of women, I hear a lot of women talk about this when it comes to wanting to lose weight in a relationship. I did not, any excuse that I started to come up, like that started to bubble up, I was like, I'm figuring out the solution to it. So I was like, how am I going to be able to eat like the way that I know I need to eat to lose this weight? But then I also am in a relationship with someone that loves to eat. Okay? That loves to eat. I love to eat. We eat a lot together. Like, how am I going to do this? So I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, are we not going to be able to connect over food? Like, I just was like coming up with all these things. I just was like, no, I have a supportive partner. I am going to have to lose this weight, and they're going to have to help me on this journey. And if they like are always like pushing me into eating worse, then I don't know if they have my best intentions, but that particular person was my number one fan and definitely did help me like lose the weight. So number two is I through meditation, my meditative ritual, I came up with the fact that I had to quit my job. I had to quit whatever was giving me the most stress. Okay. So what is that for you? What is that for you? So what reflection method are you going to use? Write that down, whether it's meditation, journaling, whatever. And then number two, identify the areas in your life that are bringing up a lot of stress. Write them all out. Okay. I'm actually going to put that down. Write out all areas that give you high stress. And then you write out, okay, so now what's next? Solutions for all that. Solutions for each stress trigger. Okay. Now I do want to make this very, very clear. You don't just like write this all out and then it's like, okay, cool, I wrote it out. It's all solved now. This took years. Right? But it took me to reflect, to like really sit down and say, okay, I'm going to have to start to make some major changes, and it's all going to start to compound on itself over time. But I'm going to have to come up with some major changes. Right? And, look at it, reflect on it, commit to it, and know that I'm going to get the results that, you know, that know that I just deserve to have. So that was that. And then, I gave myself a realistic amount of time. So I said 6 months to quit my job. And then I gave myself, to quit job. And then I gave myself 6 months to lose the 25 to 30 pounds. Because I wanted to, so make sure that you are doing this with me. I wanted to give myself like ample amount of time because I did not want to gain the weight back. This wasn't coming from a place of, ooh, I want to hurry up and get skinny so I could be on a yacht and twerk in a thong. It was because I wanted to like feel really confident in my body and not go into my older years just continuing to gain 5 to 10 pounds every single year. And then like all of a sudden I'm 48 and I'm like, what happened? You know? So, it was a lot deeper. And it also, there's even another layer here. I took care of my grandmother for a really long time, and and she had dementia. I would go to her appointments and I would see these older people at these appointments, right? So I'm sitting there in the waiting room and I'm watching people come in, and they're in their, you know, some of them were in their 40s, some of them were in their late 50s, some of them were really, really elderly. And I was shooketh. Okay, a lot of this stuff most of us don't see if you're like in your 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s, you don't see this on a daily basis. But I had to take my grandmother to the doctor very often. So I was constantly in this arena of like people that were really, really unhealthy. And 50% of the people, because I could just like, it was a very small doctor's office, and I can just like overhear what they were in there for. And a lot of it had been stuff that was self-inflicted from like consistent decisions over time that was not nourishing their body. So diabetes, blood pressure issues. Now all of it, some of it, I'm just talking about like the stuff that is self-inflicted. I'm not judging anybody for anything. This is just a fact. I overheard these individuals that, because of like their the fried food that they were eating, they now had all these like heart conditions and things like that. So they'd be like, you got to start eating better. You got to start eating better. And I would see them limping in and limping out and having all these like medications and just like looking like life had really worn them down. And they were only like 40, 52, 53, 50, 59. Like, and I just was like, okay, so I was getting exposed to that. And now here I am, I've gained 25 to 30 pounds at 29 years old. And I'm like, whoa, like I can just see how this can start to compound on top of itself very quickly, but like, well, actually not quickly. It'll be slow. It's actually slow, right? Because you're like not noticing it really. You're just like not really noticing. And then like 3 years goes by and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to buy, bigger clothes, or it's okay if I take this one medication. The one medication's fine. I have bigger clothes now. That's fine. Okay. And I am getting older. Okay. So this is normal, and then all of a sudden it's like 20 years goes by and you've like have all these medications, all this extra weight, all this extra stress that you put on your body physically. Like I just saw it unfolding. I was like, oh my God, no. So that was another deep layer. And again, that all came to me through my number one suggestion that I want to encourage you guys to do, which is to have some kind of ritual, whether it's meditation, journaling, getting with a counselor, getting with a mentor, getting with somebody that can help you dive deeper, getting with yourself in a way that that will help you dive deeper. Okay. You can't, it's harder to figure these things out when you just don't take time. Like we're just filling up our time with Netflix and partying and drinking and traveling, which all those things are fine. But if you're only doing that, like it's going to be harder to like dive deeper. So there was all these realizations happening. Okay. So I was like, okay, now going back to my list, I was like, how am I going to lose the 25 to 30 pounds? Like, how am I going to do this? Let me just see what you guys are saying really quick. I like the way you think. You're very smart, but you're always saying the truth. Thank you. Okay. Let me just take a sip of my turmeric tea. It's a funny comment. Okay. So I was like, how am I going to lose this 25 pounds while I'm in a relationship with someone that loves to eat? I didn't care. I did not make that an excuse. A lot of people make that an excuse. I just was like, I'm going to like if I'm going to have a protein shake at dinner while they have their pastalini or their tortellini or their chicken parmesan, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to light a candle and we're going to just be in this space of I'm headed toward a goal. I'm this committed, and they're going to be in the goal with me and enjoying it. They get to enjoy their stuff. I get to enjoy getting healthier, and boom, that's what we're going to do. And that's what I did. I literally, there's been so many times where I would have a bowl of like, because I was also, and this is another thing too, I lost the weight, and there was a lot of really good things that I did, but then there also was some stuff that I also had to release to lose the weight. So again, we're diving deep here. This is not just like a linear thing. This is not just like, these are my 6 tips, and if you just do that, then you're gonna like have the body of your dreams. No, it's like, it was very layered. It's very, I had to like do a lot of experimenting, like turning myself into the experiment. And some things worked excellently. Some things worked not really well at all. Some things were both. It's just, so that's why I'm sharing this now. I'm heading into being 37 years on the planet. That's how I don't like to say old. 37 years on the planet. So the last 10 years I've been able to experiment and do a lot of things. Some things have worked excellently. That's why I'm sharing them with you. I hope that they can work for you, because I'm somebody that's experimented over a long period of time with these things. And if not, hopefully it just sparks you to experiment for yourself, right? So that's why we're doing this training today on actually making decisions that are going to be life-changing and impactful, right? Like, this is not just a list on YouTube, like 6 tips to lose weight. This is a diving in deep. So what I did was I started eating way less calories. And maybe to some degree that helped a little bit for that particular time, because I had gained a lot of weight very quickly. So I was having a lot of vegetables, and at the time I ate meat. So I would have like chicken and vegetables, or there was like 1 month where I just only had vegetables. There was like another time where I ate whatever I wanted, but it was like only 1,000 calories. So I would literally be at dinner, and there's several times, and sometimes my ex pops on here. We are friends, a great human being. So he'll be able, if he's ever on here during this, like, he'll be able to attest to this. We would be literally at dinner, and I would have a protein shake. So it's not an excuse. So, well, I want to really like eat bad with my partner. My partner keeps encouraging me. And, we're going to dive deep. If your partner is encouraging you to eat, like, go against your goals, and you really want to just lose the 20 pounds, and you'll be able to eat whatever you want, but just for this one momentary time, you just gotta like have some kind of system and structure, and they're encouraging you to do the opposite, you might want to evaluate your relationship. I'm not saying get up and break up and do a divorce, but it's like we're diving deep here, right? So it's like if you have a partner that is encouraging you not to go after your goals, that's very concerning. So we might need to, go to therapy, or we might need to dive a little bit deeper on that. So thank God. And yes, you said Whole Foods and did sugar. That's exactly what I did. So I had no sugar. I would have stevia, and it was like very organic stevia. And I would put that, I drank green tea all day. Green tea is really good for speeding up your metabolism. So I would have that all day. I would only put stevia in it. I wouldn't eat after 6 o'clock. No more midnight eating, no more midnight snacking, no more we're watching Netflix at midnight, and then we have a bunch of snacks. My partner at the time had an amazing metabolism. Like, he'd be able to eat a piece of pizza, and I swear he would eat pizza and then like get more shredded. So I didn't make him do this with me. Like, it was just me and my journey. So he would have his stuff, I would have my green tea. He'd have all his snacks and his Twizzlers and and I would have, he didn't have Twizzlers, but whatever candy he was into at the time. And I would have my green tea. And that's what I had to do for 6 months, right? Like, I would have a very healthy breakfast. At the time I was eating meat. So I would have my protein, which was eggs. I would have some avocado. I was like kind of doing some playing around with the keto diet too. So I was like having, I would make sure to have like coconut oil, and a lot of avocado, like a lot of fat, which my body does really well. I learned through diving into keto a little bit that my body does really well with oil and with healthy fat. So, you might want to dig into that if that's something that you want to do. I have a lot of natural energy, so I don't need a lot of like carbs. Carbs in my body do okay if I'm going to be doing heavy, or like a lot of HIIT cardio. But if I'm not, my body will just hold on to those carbs. So I had to just accept that, right? Now, will you see me post and smack off some pasta? Absolutely. Will you see me post some, I don't know, whatever. I mean, yeah, mainly pasta or pizza. Like, I do have vegan pizza. Yes, but I had to like go through that. So 10, let me see, I was 28 when it started. So I started the journey at like 29 and a half. So I'm going to be 37. So yeah, so let's just say 8 years. So 8 years ago, I had to be very disciplined for that 6 months. So could you say, yeah, oh my God, that's torture. I just want to live. I just want to, I don't want to do that and that's fine. But for me, I just was like, I felt like I wasn't living. Like, I felt like I was getting my self-esteem was dropping by every pound. I was, it was even like affecting my performance at work, because I felt like, even though this probably wasn't even true, I felt like people were looking at me like, oh wow, like she's gained a lot of weight really quickly. Like what is she stressed? Like what's going on with her? And then I'm like, I couldn't even really train and teach at the optimal level that I wanted to do, because I was like, well, people are probably like looking at me, and people probably don't even care. They're just like, what do you need me to do? What are we getting trained on today? So it just was affecting me. So let me know in the comments if you guys have ever experienced that too, where it's like it's not that the weight gain is like unhealthy or eating bad is unhealthy, but like the consistent eating bad got me to the point where it was affecting my self-esteem. So then I wasn't living like to my fullest. I mean, I feel like being part of being human is like we're always striving for that like next level. Like we're striving to get to our higher self. We're striving to get the better body. We're striving to cultivate good relationships. We're striving to be a better human. So, but at the time, I felt like the lowering of the self-esteem due to the weight gain was taking away from my ability to live more life to the fullest. So if that makes sense. So let me see what you guys are saying really quick. Discipline, it pays off. Absolutely. Because I did all that discipline then, I now 8 years later have never gained that weight back. I mean, I've fluctuated 5 pounds here and there. That's fine. I want to do that. Like, cause if I'm on vacation, I want to like have fun, turn up, or if I'm just for no reason, if it's just a Sunday and I'm like, I want, Thai food or, whatever, or Mediterranean food. I want to eat up all the rice, whatever it is, I'm going to do that. But because I was able to get off the 30 pounds in a very consistent, healthy way. Now, the reason why I said some of it was healthy and some of it wasn't, because of the calorie restriction. So the calorie restriction, yes, it's simple math. Calories in versus calories out. If you eat less calories and burn more, than you're burning, then yeah, like you are going to lose the weight. So let's just say if you eat 2,000 calories a day, but then you're like burning, and just for simply existing, we burn about 1,300 to 1,400 calories just for like, you could like lay in a bed and just like not move. And just for the functioning of like our heart and the functioning of just like being alive, we burn like 1,300 calories. So then if you're eating 2,000 calories, but then you're burning more than that, with your workouts, then yeah, you will start to lose the weight, and you can on average lose, maybe 2 to 3 pounds a week in a healthy way by doing that method. But I was doing it really quickly because I had gained it so quickly, and I was like, I want my body back right now. So I was doing heavy calorie restriction and doing way too much cardio. Now, when you look at my pictures, I was I was even thinner, like a lot thinner. I had lost the weight. It took me 6 months to do, but I lost the weight. But then like what happens is your body starts to plateau. So I started noticing that I was able to get back down, but then slowly but surely, I was like starting to like gain a pound and a half, and then like lose half a pound, and then gain a pound and a half. And I was just like, okay, now I started to notice that I had to eat even less calories. So I was already eating like 1,000 to 1,200 calories before, but now I'm eating 1,000 calories, and I'm having to do an hour and a half of cardio. And it just was like, and again, that worked. But then by the time I got 32, 33, I just noticed I had to keep doing more drastic things, because what I actually ended up doing was I was messing up my metabolism. Okay? Was messing up my metabolism. So that is the stage that I'm in now, where I was like, okay, now I have to rev my metabolism back up, eat a correct amount for my body, eat healthy, and then now, I've incorporated really getting into weight training, being trained by a master trainer for the last 8 months, eating healthier, like really digging into my nutritional aspects of, I don't eat meat. So I know that because I don't eat meat, I'm not getting B12. So supplementing with B12, making sure to get my omega-3s, because I don't really eat fish. So I got to get my omega-3s in from chia seeds and flax seeds. So now it's more like nutritional food education, really understanding how to build muscle correctly, better form, but make sure to fuel my body, not hitting the weights hard, and I barely have even eaten. So that's where I'm at now. But if you were to look at me on the outside, you could see like, oh wow, she really like never, because I was 130, like around 129 pounds, and got up to like almost 160. Now I'm 5'7", so it didn't, like, people would have been like, Selena, you're tripping, you're fine. But for me, it was so quickly. So sometimes, like, and I know I keep referring to myself, but I really want you to understand that, like, people could be projecting what they think that you should do or not do onto you because they're comfortable with where you're at. So they may not want you to lose the weight because they're like, dang, well, she's gonna start paying attention to her weight. I'm not going to be able to go out to eat with her anymore. I'm not going to be able to go hard with her anymore on food. We're not going to be able to Like, they're not really thinking about for you and your self-esteem and what you're physically saying. Like, I really want to lose some pounds. I want to get healthier. They're like, no, you look fine. You look great. And like, even though it's probably true, it's like, you just internally know like what you see yourself as, what you want for yourself. And if it's to look a certain way or to be at a certain health status for yourself, like, it just doesn't matter what anyone else is going to say or thinking, right? So even the partner that I was with when I gained all that weight, I met him 30 pounds thinner, and he was like, you don't have to lose 1 pound. So it wasn't like I was in a relationship where, I was like being like, I don't know, like told I was fat or anything like that from like a partner, or like being fat shamed or anything like that. It was like for me and my standard for myself. So if you have gone through that, if you're like, I don't know, people keep telling me I don't really need to make these changes, but like something inside of me is just saying, no, I want to make these elevated changes for myself. You need to go with it. Okay. So that was part of it too. So the 6 months, I came up with a game plan, which was, some of it was healthy, some of it wasn't. I did calorie restriction. It worked. Some of it was good, but some of it was bad. I went vegan, meaning I just like stopped eating meat. That's not necessarily the healthiest way to go either, but then it can be really healthy. I went hard in the gym. I got my momentum back in the gym, which was, to me, that was a positive. But I just didn't need to do as much cardio as I was doing, so that was a negative. So it was layered, right? Like, it wasn't like this perfect program of like, this is how I lost the weight. So sometimes I feel like when people are weight trainers are promoting their programs, they're awesome, they're like certified, they're all these things, people have really great success. But then like, people will do it and be really excited about it, and they'll do the 6-month program. But then like, once the 6-month program is done, like, they're like, okay, what do I do? Do I do it again? So then they'll do it again, and then they'll get bored. And then all of a sudden they like, the program kind of falls by the wayside. They start slowly gaining the weight back. So these things, like, I think if you're ever going to buy a program from somebody, I think they're awesome. But I just go into it really adopting the habits that you're learning through it. So don't just do it just to do the challenge, and then you're like, well, what do I do now? Because that means you didn't really embody like the workouts. You didn't embody the habits that you were supposed to build. You didn't embody the discipline. You only like pressed play. And like, we're really, humans especially, we do really well. That's why we love sports. We do really well with like hitting a goal, like going after a goal, accomplishing something, achieving something, getting first place, winning the national championship. But once we've done it, it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? That means you didn't really embody it. You didn't embody like the journey of like, okay, who am I? Do I identify with being a healthier person? So at the time, I didn't even realize that. I realize that now. That's who I am. I'm able to articulate that now. But then I wasn't able to do that. I was like, well, I want to like lose weight because I'm just like not used to seeing myself like that. But then as it got more and more difficult to lose the weight, going into 32, 33, 34, I realized that I was doing it for like the wrong reasons. Not that the reasons were bad. It just wasn't going to be enough to hold, like, it wasn't going to be enough to hold the space for me to continue to really live a healthy, active life for the rest of my life. Because to be honest, at 32, 33, 34, I didn't care about trying to keep up with anybody. When you're in your 20s, you're figuring yourself out. Let me know in the comments. if you are vibing with me on this, right? So, but you're just like figuring yourself out. So, you know, of course you're like, oh, like, so dang, that girl's really, really in shape. That's really motivating. Or, you know, wow, you know, I'm, you know, every year on the planet, I'm gaining another year. I want to try to keep up with myself. But what I realize is like, as I just want to embody my best self with where I'm at currently. I never want to go back to my 21-year-old body, back to my 25-year-old body, back to my dancer body. But I don't want to go back to anything. I just want to like be here now and be making the best decisions for myself right now with this body going into 37 in 2 weeks. Or I keep saying 2 weeks. It's next week. My birthday is February 2nd. So it's like, I want to be excited about being in a 37-year-old body and being at the best elite level for myself, right? So I think like women, we should really embody that and like understand, like, it's kind of like, it's almost like saying, it's almost like being 25 years old and then saying, ooh, I want my 13-year-old body again. It's like, that's never coming back. Like, you know, I really like the extra skinny look. I really want to like have my 13-year-old body again and I'm 25 now. No. Like, so that's where it's at, right? So hello from New York. Thanks for tapping in with me. So let me know, like, send me some emojis, like send me some thumbs up. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you're vibing with me on this, again, I am diving deep. I am sharing a lot of my story. So this is not necessarily a dump of me just like telling you my story, but I'm really wanting you guys to understand that there's so many layers to actually losing weight and then, you know, how it affects our self-esteem and stuff like that. Okay, so during that time, I realized I had to quit my job. I quit my job. I had way less stress. I was able to lose the weight. I had a different game plan with my fitness and the level on how I had to eat. Again, not eating after a certain time, drinking a lot of water, drinking a lot of green tea, cutting my calories down, cutting away the type of food that I was eating. I got rid of sugar for like, I think it was like literally 4 months. I hadn't had any sugar in my body. So I was able to lose the weight. And then of course, because I had developed like the discipline, I was able to keep it off. Now where I started to plateau, okay, so I got the discipline down. I was like, I know I can do this. If I need to lose weight, I can do it. I was able to like stay away from sugar. I was able to get my body looking a certain way if I knew I was going to go on a vacation. But I started to then notice the plateauing. So I started it at 29. The plateauing started at 32, 33. So I'm like, now I have to regain plan because I'm not about to, I can't have 400 calories a day and then do 2 hours of cardio. So it's just not going to work. So I really was starting to pay attention to my body. So what I started to do was I then got into kickboxing. That was amazing. I want to get back into that actually. The only reason why I stopped was because of the pandemic, okay, the Rona. And the facility that I was working out at, they closed. So now I do like some kickboxing stuff like on YouTube from home, but it's just not the same. Like you really want to like, I actually want to invest in a kickboxing bag. So, because that's how much I loved it. So I had to switch up what I was doing because I was only doing treadmill workouts and doing little squats and stuff like that, right? Also, another really big thing that I did, and I've been doing this actually ever since my early 20s, was going in the sauna. Going into the sauna for at least 3 days a week. Typically, I like to do 5 to 6, but I try to get a minimum of at least 3 days a week. It gets rid of toxins out of your system. It honestly makes you feel like look more youthful. People, you know, again, people usually are saying, "Oh wow, I didn't know you were going to be 37." Like, and that has a lot to do with the sauna and the steam room. Okay, I'm talking a lot, so let me just get something to drink really quick. For those of you who are just hopping on, this is my turmeric and ginger tea. Really amazing for getting rid of free radicals that we learned about at the beginning and reducing inflammation. I drink it every single day. It is my holy grail. This is part of my ritual. And when I say ritual, I'm saying I want to get you guys to understand ritual as opposed to like just this is like my habit building, because ritual is more like a part of you. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like putting on your clothes. Like it's like brushing your hair. It's just like, it's a part of who you are. So you will probably always see me with a turmeric tea. If I'm like posting something or if I hop on live, I usually always have a tea in very close proximity to me. Okay, so I developed discipline. I switched up my workouts. I stopped eating meat. So that's a whole nother ball game. I stopped eating meat, but then I started eating a lot of carbs. So then what I was having to do, I was like, okay, I'm 33. I haven't gained the weight back. I'm really proud of myself. But now I'm on this new journey with not eating meat. And part of the reason why I was able to keep the weight off was because I was like eating meat. So I was having protein and it was very satiating. So then when I stopped eating meat, it was like my body like reacted to it extremely well and still does. But then I noticed that like I wasn't aware of how important protein is. And I wasn't aware of how much there is not really that much protein. There is protein in fruit and vegetables, but it's like 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams. Like it's very small. And then I was having a lot of like French fries, pasta, but then I would have healthier stuff like falafels and stuff like that, but they're not filled with protein. So then the last 2 years, I've really started to dive deep into my protein intake, which is honestly, it's not going to be the most luxurious answer to share with you guys, but I've had to supplement with, I think of protein now like it's a vitamin. I don't even think about it like, oh, it's my main course, like on my plate, because I don't have like a big steak and then everything else is around it. I don't have a big, nice, fat piece of chicken and then all the other sides are around it. Like I've had to literally change my paradigm on like what my doesn't start to, let me know if it's starting to lag. I hope it doesn't start to lag, because sometimes when that happens, oh, it says that I liked my own live. That's funny. So, right, I just was like, I didn't go vegan in a very smart way. I luckily, again, my body reacted to it very well, but I then paid for it a little bit later after like 3 years of doing it. I was like, okay, my hair is starting, like, it was really good for me at first, because I feel, okay, so again, let me know if you're somebody that went vegan or plant-based or stopped eating meat. I just stopped eating meat. People give me the title and I'm just like, sure, I just don't care, but mainly I just don't eat meat. So, I think what happened was I shed a lot of like old hair from like when I was eating meat, and then new hair started to come in. But then because I wasn't getting the protein, my hair then started to thin back out. And so a lot of people will say that like they had issues with their hair, and I get it, because what happens is you need the protein. They're building blocks. Like they're literally the building blocks of like what, like all these little machines and processes that happen in our body. You need it, right? Like there's 21 amino acids. There is 11 of them our body makes on it. 11 of the amino acids our body produces it on its own. 9 of them are essential amino acids, meaning that your body does not produce them on their own. You have to actually put them into your body, and usually most of them are in meat. So that's why a lot of like meat eaters will be so against like, well, don't stop eating meat, because a lot of the 9 essential amino acids are very easily gotten in meat. So you have to really get onto your supplement game. So I now get plant-based protein, and I make sure to have as many amino acid, the amino acid index, I try to have as many in one helping as I can. You can actually get the 9 essential amino acids in its own supplement form. There's also some of the amino acids in vegetables, but you have to like do the research on which amino acids are in those vegetables. So it's deep. So I almost feel like every single person that ever is thinking about going vegan, you have to really number one, figure out why. Like, I went vegan because I just didn't like meat in my body. Like, every time I ate meat, it just didn't feel good in my body, period. So I just was like, oh, I'm just going to stop eating meat. So again, I was kind of like just doing an intuitive choice on that. I reacted really well, but then my body was like, wait a minute, okay, well, we wanted you to stop eating meat, but like, that didn't mean stop eating protein. Like, we still got to get enough protein in this body, right? So once I started having protein, like, I felt like I've even noticed like my hair has like really started to like grow the last 2 years, done like a growth spurt because I really started digging into getting as much protein as I can into my body, along with wanting to build muscle. So that's what I love about like the weight training journey, is that because you need protein to like help keep the muscle onto your body, and also muscle burns fat, but that's a whole other topic. You have to it forces you to like think about, okay, I need protein. I just went hard in the gym, and I'm not about to lose all this work that I put in the gym and not, keep it with like the protein. So like today I had my diet is very boring, but I'll go hard on anything that I want to eat. So like most of the time it's a very structured way of eating for myself. I have a lot of soups, salads, whole nuts, whole grains. I'm kind of getting away from that, but that's a whole other topic. Nuts, I think I already said fruit, and then protein shakes. But then like if I'm at dinner, or if I'm out with the family, or if I'm on vacation, or whatever I'm doing, I'll have whatever I want. I'll smack off a pasta. That doesn't matter. But I eat very like fruits, vegetables, nuts. Like I eat, I actually looked it up, and it's called I think it's on this phone actually, but it's called it's like our ancestral way of eating. Like for some reason my body, like the Ayurvedic way of, I'm butchering that name, but the Ayurvedic way of eating, or like the ancestral way of like the ancestral way of eating, like berries, nuts, an array of other fruits, vegetables, herbs, like stuff like that. I just feel amazing. I feel really good when I eat like that. But then I also am like, but I also want to like have my mother's pie that she only makes once a year. Or, if I'm out to dinner with like, it's my nephew's second birthday, I'm going to shove cake in my mouth with him, like those are like memories and moments. So I think sometimes people get like, they feel like they're so restricted, like, oh man, well, if I start eating healthy, or if I adapt a healthy lifestyle, I'm not going to be able to live. And you actually live more when you adapt a healthier lifestyle, because you have like more energy, you have more vitality, you don't have all these aches and pains, you're not allowing disease to build up in your body. Now, whatever God has for us in our life, things that come up, I'm not attaching myself like, oh my God, like I don't want to ever get a disease, so I want to eat as healthy. No, I mean, we're just like living every day the healthiest that we can, whatever comes our way. Usually when you are healthier, whatever does come your way, you're actually able to deal with it a little bit better, because like you're healthier, right? Like if you're already sick, and then like something comes your way, like another disease or another sickness or like another life stressor or things like that, like we just don't have like the wherewithal, like the willpower, like our willpower is like weakened dealing with those things. So I noticed that now I'm a lot more healthier and more disciplined, that I've gained this ritual over time. I've gained a lot of experience through experimenting, right? I really suggest to try something out for 3 months. See what your body does. Don't just try something out for 2 weeks. That doesn't work. Okay. Again, like if, think of me like a big sister, auntie, a mentor. I'm going to be 37 years on the planet. So I'm not an elder, but I know a little bit of something, and just doing something for 2 weeks to see if it's going to work, or to see if you lose weight and you're like, I don't see 0 results. That program doesn't work. It's trash. Well, like doing something for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month, it's just like our bodies, there might be 1% of people that like all of a sudden just react really well to a particular program. But most of us, like you have to give it a solid 3 months. Think about like when you read a study like Harvard University or Stanford University did this study where, or this, Yale University. all these studies, when you look at the time period, when they're doing experiments, it's typically three months, 6 months, a year that they're following along with these studies. So you can, like, you need to look at yourself like you're a science experiment, and gather data. So you have actually like a good period of time of data collected where you're like, okay, I did this for 3 months. I was able to incorporate this into my lifestyle. Because a lot of times we'll do something for 2 weeks and we're able to do it for 2 weeks because we like maybe we were able to make sacrifices for just those 2 weeks. And then now the third week is here and we're like, well, we want to start going back out again. We want to start like going to the happy hour again. So I'm just going to go. And then we go to the happy hour and then we have the happy hour meal and then it doesn't follow the program. And then all of a sudden a month goes by and we're like not really realizing that we started to fall off the program kind of week 3. And then week 4, it was like we barely did it. And then all of a sudden we look back in a month and we're like, that program sucks. That way of eating sucks. Those workouts don't work. Like you have to commit to something for 90 days. That's just what I've done. What I've seen as successful, like you collect a successful amount of data to really judge if something is working or not over 90 days. Some can agree, some can disagree. That's just what's worked for me. And that's how I can really judge if something is for me. Like with my skincare, with using something on my hair, like people always laugh when I tell them what I use for my hair. I used it for 90 days, saw a significant amount of change, and I've never strayed away from it since. And it's the most random shampoo and conditioner, but for whatever reason, it works really well for my hair. And when I've tried it, when people are like, don't use that, use this, I use other things, and then I just notice my hair starts to change. I don't know what it is, that particular. So sometimes you just got to do what's best for you. Again, it goes back to like, sometimes like when you share too much about what your goals are or what your skincare goals are, what your self-care goals are, what your life goals are, what your money goals are, people kind of will like start to implant like little like seeds of doubt. And really it's coming from a place of love most of the time, I would say, because they just want to keep you safe. They don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you disappoint yourself. But then like when you're actually receiving it and taking that information in, you're like, well, you know, they don't think it's going to work. So I'm just not going to even try it. Or you know what? I only tried it for 2 weeks and they were right. It didn't really work. So I'm just going to stop doing it. You have to just decide to commit to something for 90 days and really evaluate if you're going to continue it on and make it a true ritual for yourself, or if you are going to collapse that, put it aside, and know that you really gave that a shot. Like, for example, one thing I did, I have, and again, this is not a structured thing. This is a training. This is a life training. This is a big sister training. This is a mentor training. So I've been jotting down some notes here, but I hope you can understand and really like take in what I'm saying from my life experience and what I'm sharing with you. That's the real training. Like that's the qualification for me to be able to talk about this. And I hope that you can gain something from this. No, and just even if it's just to say, okay, I really got to give things a longer period of time. I really got to give things a chance. I really got to understand that things are going to take small changes over a long period of time that will compound on top of each other, and I will see results, right? So again, I went hard those 6 months when I was 28, 29 years old, and I'm reaping the benefits of that now going into 37 years old and not having to lose all this weight, having to gain all this self-esteem back, having to, you know, at the time I had gained 25 to 30 pounds, but then what if, you know, if I never did that and then now I'm having to try to lose 40 to 50 pounds going into my 40s, right? Because I made those small decisions that seemed like they sucked at the time, I then am reaping the benefits of that now, right? So thank you so much. I'm actually coming out with an entire like 50 tips on how to look 10 years younger than your age, because I have done a lot and have implemented a lot, and it has been serving me, and I want other people to do these things, other people to see that it works, and it's not just like a get young quick kind of thing. It's like, again, adapting rituals and habits. So I am actually coming out with something like that. But a lot of them I also just listed, like the reason why people usually say I look more youthful and things like that. The sauna, having a more plant-based diet, eating more of the ancestral way, which is, fruits, vegetables, nuts, obviously staying as hydrated as possible. I do eat bad. What I like to say is I do eat foods that are not as nourishing 15 to 20% of the time. So I am living my life still, right? So I hope my phone is actually going to die in a little bit. So I'm going to have to hop off in a little bit. And I don't think I don't know, will this reach? Yeah, this is not going to reach. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, let me just run through this really quick. But what I was going to say, I didn't forget what I was going to say. Keto. I tried keto out for 3 months. And I think that there's positive things with it. And I think that there's some things that just didn't work for me. So I did not take that into my ritual with me on how I eat. The reason why, the main thing for me is that I think keto works really well if you eat meat. And it's really hard to like do keto if you don't eat meat, for me at least. Like I'm just like, okay, what do you eat then? So it's already a high fat diet and it's a low carb diet. And then like there's only a certain amount of like meat you can eat, or a certain amount of protein you're supposed to eat. So I'm like, okay, that's just no, like that's just not going to work for me. So, what I learned from the keto was that I did really well with avocado and olive oil and coconut oil in my diet. So like sometimes like if I have pumpernickel bread, I will have some bread from time to time. I was having it every day. I'm actually cutting down on the bread, but I'll put coconut oil and then sea salt and pepper instead of butter. Right? Or I'll have sometimes I'll have avocado as a snack. I'll cut up some avocado, put some salt and pepper on it, and that'll just like be my snack. And I feel really good. I feel like energized. I'm just, I've learned that from doing the keto. So anyways, just to run through really quick. And again, if you want to get any of my replays, I know a lot of you guys have been saying how like this is like, oh, well, I take that as a fantastic compliment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love looking like the first lady. Let's see. Some of these comments are really funny. Okay. So before my phone dies, just to wrap it up really quick, how I was able to lose 25 to 30 pounds is I created a ritual for myself and kept it off for 8 years, never yo-yo dieted. I created a ritual for myself to really dive deep as to why I gained the pounds. I really wrote out what was giving me a lot of stress in order for me to want to cope with stress by eating. I then looked at all of those stress triggers and then made a game plan and a solution-oriented game plan for getting rid or at least reducing the stress. And then part of it for me was actually quitting my job. That's how serious I was about wanting to get healthier, because my job was my number one stressor. And then I also came up with the plan to lose the 25 to 30 pounds for 6 months. And I committed to it because I adapted rituals with my eating and with my fitness. And so much so where, again, I had a partner that I was living with at the time, and I would have a protein shake at dinner and they would be having chicken parmesan. And we were like, we're in this together. We are going to lose the 25 to 30 pounds, right? So if you have a partner, it's not an excuse. They should actually be on. I'm not saying that you need to, like, that was just me and my journey, like deciding to have a protein shake for dinner during that stage of my life. But if you do have a partner, they should be on board with whatever game plan that you have, that you come up with to help you with your journey. And if not, again, you might want to also do some deep diving into why they wouldn't want to, help you with your goals. So yeah, so that is it. Definitely tap in with me. I'm only going to show this replay over on Instagram under my subscription. I'm also going to be bundling. I'm doing a whole week of training with, again, the training is diving deep and making real life changes in your life. So that's like the theme around all of my different lives. So some of you guys have reached out to me and said it's been really, really amazingly helpful. So I love that. And I'm going to continue to do, hopefully you guys can catch me live for the next couple of days. And then I'm going to be bundling this into a training, and I will be selling it as a mini course. But again, you can get it for free if you just catch me on the live. Okay. So any questions before I go? I have about 40 of you guys on here. Any questions before I go about anything about fitness? I do have all this stuff too. I talk about a lot of it, and diving even deeper. I have an ebook. You can click the link in my bio, and it will be listed in the top. Oh my gosh, it's getting windy out there. It's the first link in my link tree. So how to lose belly fat. It talks about a lot of the stuff that I just talked about here. But if you want to dive deeper and actually have like, if you're like, I don't really know how to come up with a game plan, and like I need it to be more structured and not just like set on a live, get my ebook. Click the link in the description. It's the first one at the top. All right. And again, my lives are all posted over on my subscription under my Instagram. So it's the same name as on here, Sienna Singh. If you go to Instagram, it's under Sienna Singh. You'll see a subscription button, and you can push that, subscribe, and then you'll see all these lives. And then I'm also going to be putting not all of my lives are going to go over there. Some of them are going to go into this training bundle that I'm going to be giving to you guys. It'll be over like 10 or 15 hours worth of training on how to actually realistically dive deep and really make real changes on what you need to do. So, okay. Any sea moss bird? Yes, absolutely. All of that. Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Sabi, I definitely have looked into his work. I definitely have followed a lot of this stuff. I haven't read his books, but I've watched a lot of YouTubes on him, and definitely eating more of the alkaline. And that's on a whole nother level, because there's so many fruit. There's even fruits and vegetables that he encourages you not to eat. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I ever will be. I don't know if I'm feeling called to like never have broccoli. Although I get his science as to why, and why, what his, he's a very intelligent, smart human being that has changed lives massively, or on the planet. So I would never, but I don't know if that's resonating with me right now in this stage of my life of like not having any cauliflower or not having any broccoli. Although I get why he's saying what he's saying. So, I can say it's kind of like helped me like make other choices sometimes. Like I'll maybe have like spinach, or like I'll like make another choice sometimes, because I know like some of Dr. Sabi's teachings with like certain fruits and vegetables like not even being real fruit, like they're like hybrids. So I'm on that journey, but that's a good call. All right, guys, make sure to follow me. Definitely tap in with me. Click my link tree, get my ebook if you want to dive deeper. I know some of you are asking questions. A lot of the questions are just answered right there in that ebook. And yeah. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. And I will tap in with you guys soon. If you guys have any questions for me, and I'm getting off the live and you didn't have time to type it, go ahead and just DM me either over here on TikTok or on Instagram. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.